Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday, December 5th, 2025. Born on this date in 1939, abstract painter Jack Whitten of Bessemer. Today, we're going to check in with weather reporter Lee Morgan as we begin the winter season and also talk about how accurate this year's hurricane season forecasts were. Now, also in today's report, we have early Amtrak success on the coast, human remains finally identified, and a really big house sale. I'm Mike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. So far, the current iteration of Amtrak on the Alabama coast seems to be a success, reports AL.com's John Sharp. More than 46,000 customers have ridden the rails between Mobile and New Orleans since the Amtrak Mardi Gras service launched on August 18th. Now, this really bodes well for the route. Amtrak services typically slow in January and February, but Mardi Gras between these two cities may be the antidote for that. So, where are the riders going? Well, Southern Rail Commission Chairman Knox Ross thinks it's not just Alabamians taking trips to New Orleans, which was feared by some people. Said Ross, quote, "It puts to bed the notion that no one wants to come to Mobile. What we're finding is we're far ahead of the projections, more than double. The ridership has grown each month. It's become a part of the transportation infrastructure," end quote. Part of a Centerpoint mystery has apparently been solved, reports AL.com's Carol Robinson. Now, remember that dog that kept bringing human remains back into his yard? Well, now the Jefferson County Coroner's Office has finally identified who those remains belong to. In February 2024, a legally blind man in his mid-20s, Curtis Taylor Jr., told his mom he was going to spend some time with his dad. When he didn't show up back at his mom's house for 2 weeks, she found out that he had never shown up at his dad's at all. A missing persons report was filed, but searches didn't turn up anything. Well, meanwhile, about 6 months later, a man saw his German Shepherd mix playing with a skull in the road by his home. And then a few months later, the dog was playing with a tibia. And then a few months later, on April 10th of this year, the dog was found with a femur. Authorities searched and found a jawbone. They were able to link all the remains to a single person, and they've discovered that they belong to Taylor. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is investigating Taylor's death as a homicide. And the biggest house in Alabama has changed hands, reports AL.com's William Thornton. All 54,000 square feet of it. The 1997 home is on 27 acres in Shelby County's Shoal Creek neighborhood. It's nearly as big as the White House and comes in at number 44 nationally among the largest houses in the U.S. There are 15 bedrooms, 22 bathrooms, 12 grand fireplaces, mahogany doors, hand-selected marble, a 25-person theater, a 10-car garage, commercial-grade elevator, 2,000 bottle capacity wine cellar, an equestrian center, and since it'd be tacky to make your guests have to share those 54,000 square feet, a 3,000 square foot guest home. What a shame that you can only be in one room at a time. The house went for a cool $4.8 million, close to the same price it was sold for in 2020. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, talk a little weather. Hey, thanks everybody for staying with us. I thought it would be a good time to sort of recognize the point we're at in the year as far as weather's concerned. So we have back on the show, as you've heard many times, weather reporter Lee Morgan. Thanks for showing up, Lee.
Do I get like a reward for coming on here so much?
It's doing the
Like a
show.
veteran?
Doing this show is
Should be
its
some
own
perks.
reward. At least that's what I've been told.
Okay. I'll remember that.
um,
What do you want to talk about?
well, you know what? It seems like we're farther removed from hurricane season than we actually are. I think that's partly because of the kind of hurricane season it was, certainly from our perspective here in Alabama and the northern Gulf Coast, but also because I've already worn my long handles a couple times this winter. So it's been a little chilly.
A little bit.
Yeah. So with the hurricane season officially ending this past Sunday, I'd love it.
Really? Was it just Sunday?
It's just Sunday. You
Gosh.
know that. You did a story.
Well, I know it just, like you said, you were accurate. It does seem like a really long time.
It's been a long year. It's been a long week for some reason that without any real reason. Well, yeah, I'd love it if you could kind of, to use this month's vernacular, put a bow on the hurricane season.
Oh,
How it's measured
impressive.
up, how it's measured up, and to what the forecast told us. We have to hold those things accountable.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for those keeping score, this hurricane season, which the Atlantic hurricane season, which stretches from June the 1st to November the 30th, we had 13 named storms as tropical storms, hurricanes, 5 hurricanes, and 4 of those hurricanes became major hurricanes, which is a category 3 or stronger storm. And interestingly, they had 4 major hurricanes. 3 of those 4 were Cat 5s, which
Wow.
is only surpassed by, I think, the 2005 crazy season, where they
Right.
had like the Greek names they went into.
It was like high percentage hurricanes here. We didn't have a whole lot of
Yeah.
them, but wow.
The ones that did performed, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so unfortunately, or unfortunately, one of those, Melissa, hit Jamaica, Cuba, went through the Bahamas, and caused a lot of damage around the Caribbean, killed a lot of people. So the other 2 thankfully stayed out at sea. But the forecast, so we want to compare it to the forecast. So NOAA gives himself a nice little margin when they forecast hurricanes. So in August, when they updated their forecast, they said 13 to 18 named storms. So ding! Hey, do you have
Right.
your buzzer? Ding!
Right. Yeah.
They got within that. They were successful. Then there are 5 to 9 hurricanes. We had 5 hurricanes, so there's 2 for 2. And then they forecast 2 to 5 major hurricanes, which we had 4. So they scored. Now, I will say, according to NOAA, and they've updated these averages, an average season has 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, 3 major hurricanes. So by that measure, a little slower than average, which we'll take.
Yeah, the windows were wide enough, as you pointed out, that it was really that we were in the extreme lower part of everything except for major hurricanes. So I would say the season underperformed. Is that
Yes.
fair?
And nobody's complaining.
No.
And the greatest thing was we didn't have a single hurricane in the Gulf. We had 2 tropical storms, little piddly storms, but they were way down in the southern Gulf in the Bay of Campeche. It was the first time since 2014 there wasn't some sort of tropical storm threat, hurricane threat to the northern Gulf Coast. It's also the first time in a decade that a hurricane didn't hit the United States. Now we had a tropical storm hit South Carolina. But anyway, that was no hurricane, so we'll take it. We'll take it. And I can't believe that the season just ended on Sunday. I guess because it's so incredibly cold and miserable right now. It just feels like winter, and it is winter. It's officially
It is.
meteorological winter.
What day did that start?
December the 1st.
Okay. Well, back on June 25th, the June 25th edition of this podcast,
Okay.
you and I did a segment
Right.
on hurricane season vocabulary words.
Okay.
Now, I got positive feedback on it.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I didn't tell you. I usually share all the good news. I think I got all the answers wrong, but it was fun. We educated people. We may have saved lives. I have
We're reaching here.
I have no indication that we didn't.
Going a little crazy.
Now that hurricane season's behind us, bone chill and wintertime is upon us, I thought we'd provide a similar service and spend just a few minutes on some wintry weather vocabulary.
Okay. But I'm already cold. This is going to make me feel even colder.
All right.
But go ahead. Go ahead. We'll crank the heater
Well,
up and we'll discuss it.
I sent you a list of words.
Right?
You don't have them though, probably. I'll go
Do
ahead.
have them. I have them right here.
Oh, okay. So you just call out the words. I'll take a stab at it, and then you can tell us what the real answer is.
Can we do this with the buzzer?
We don't have a buzzer. No.
Why don't we have the buzzer?
Because I'm in the hot seat.
I think that is only fair that I get to use the buzzer.
All right.
It's got to be around here somewhere.
First word.
Okay. The first word, polar vortex. Polar vortex.
My third favorite Atari 2600 game behind Adventure and Frogger.
For real? Asteroids wasn't your favorite?
No.
That's wrong.
Or Polar Vortex.
The polar vortex sounds really scary, doesn't it? But not as fun as Atari, but it's not fun. It is a large area of low pressure and cold air that there's one at the North Pole, one at the South Pole. Always there. It gets stronger in the wintertime, as one would expect. It gets weaker in the summertime. And the vortex part is from the flow of air around the counterclockwise, right? So that helps keep that colder air near the poles, North Pole and the South Pole. But occasionally, when it gets weakens, some of that cold air can break off and shoot southward. And very rarely the worst of it reaches the Gulf Coast, but we can get some cold weather from every now and again. But the polar vortex, the Arctic outbreaks, they happen fairly regularly, but our friends in the Midwest and Northeast get those more often than we do.
Okay. Well, good. And good for that.
Okay. I want to go back to that Atari because I cannot believe asteroids was not in there. But anyway, okay. Our next word, you want to move this along?
Yes.
Okay, Arctic blast.
Oh, that's another thing we hear a lot this time of year. That's a University of Wisconsin kegger.
That's pretty good. But that is incorrect. That is incorrect. Arctic blast, it kind of goes along with our polar vortex. So that's when some of that Arctic air travels. Typically, it starts in Siberia and crosses the poles and pushes south and east into the United States. So according to the National Weather Service, the strongest ones get down as far as the Gulf states every 4 or 5 years on average. So sometimes we just around here like to say it's an Arctic blast when it gets really cold, right? Because it feels like might as well be the Arctic, right? We're not used to that. But that's when it gets really cold and we have the polar vortex sends us some
it's related.
Arctic air. Yes.
So these two first concepts are related.
They are. All right. So you're 0 for 2 at this point.
All right, what's next?
I'm filing a complaint that I don't have a buzzer. The next one, nor'easter.
If I were a sailor in Maine, I would care. But it's a good one to know because you hear it from folks a lot of times. Down here, it means something different than it does in the Northeast. It means it's the end of a complaint that you're making about your employer. See, they didn't let me off for Christmas nor Easter.
Oh man, I really wish I had that buzzer. That's horrible. And there was so much build up to that. That is incorrect. I want to lodge a complaint against nor'easter too because of the hyphenation situation. I don't like that. The way
it's not a hyphen, it's an apostrophe.
Well, whatever. It's right there in the middle of the word.
Right, where the missing letters are.
It bothers me that it's there. All right, a nor'easter is you hear of those in the wintertime. And you think of them most often as strong storm systems that tend to travel up the east coast of the United States. Now, they can form inland too, but the ones we hear about that, the Weather Channel is always going on and on about are the ones typically that ride right up the coast and give a lot of rain and snow to those big metropolitan areas in the mid-Atlantic states. So we don't have to worry about those here. Thank you. One thing we don't have to worry about. All right, so you're 0 for 3. Let's see where we're going now. Now, this one I have hope for you. You should get this one right. All right, black ice.
Oh, that's an AC/DC album.
It is an AC/DC
It's it's
album.
it's also a beer that I'll never try.
Is it really?
It is,
I didn't
and
know that.
I don't know this 100%. It could be a flavor of Copenhagen. I don't know, but
I
it sounds
don't
like
know.
it could be. They have like every flavor of Copenhagen now for people. You either know what I'm talking about or you don't. You
I
know,
don't want to know.
there are. I'm sure there's somebody in our audience going, "Hey, man, what happened to Copenhagen flavored Copenhagen?" But anyway, it's all bad stuff. Stay away from it. I'll bet I'm wrong on that.
Okay, black ice. Now we do have to worry about black ice here occasionally. It is most often you hear about it as patchy ice on roadways, and the reason it's called black ice is because it's a real thin layer of ice, and of course, ice has no color. So when it's on the roadways, the asphalt, it looks black, and it can't easily be seen, and so you could really have some problems if you're, trucking along and hit some black ice, especially here where we don't know how to drive in winter conditions. It seems like we just don't. We just stay home, and eat Cheez-Its and whatever you eat when it gets cold. But anyway, that's
They
what black ice is.
build a fire under the tree stand.
You really need to get at least one of these correct to have
Well,
for
give me
me to
an
retain any
call out
respect
another
for
one.
you at all.
Call out another one. I got it.
All right. Now this one, okay. Thunder snow.
Thor's Yankee cousin.
That's pretty good.
Had to make up for Nor'easter.
I want you to put a clip of Jim Cantori in that goes along with the thunder snow because that's one of my favorite things ever.
Is that fair use? I don't know.
I don't know. You can just do a couple seconds.
Yeah, he went nuts. It was his double rainbow going all the way over the sky moment, I think.
Maybe
right?
so.
Yeah.
I think they did put it to a song. Those people.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. Anyway, thunder snow is something I have actually experienced. Did you know this?
No, I don't think so.
And a lot of people around here have, especially those that were here for the storm of the century, 1993. We had some thunder snow where I was in Birmingham area. And I know this because I was laying in bed and it was quiet. You know how quiet it gets when it's snowing. And I could just hear the tree limbs above our house breaking off in the quiet. And then you'd hear it crack. And then you'd wait and wait and wham, they'd hit the roof. And I was just waiting for one to come through the roof and kill me, which it didn't. Thank you, thank you. Our roof remained intact. But I heard thunder snow that night because it was such a strong, potent storm system that it had convection in it. Convection is, of course, warm air that rises. And it's rare in the winter, of course, because you don't have warm air in the
Now
winter.
that means there's lightning somewhere.
There's lightning, yes. And sometimes you don't hear the thunder, but you can see the lightning during the thunder snow. But I did not jump around like Jim Cantori. I just
Good.
put the pillow over my head, so maybe that I would survive.
Very good. All right, next one. We got
All
one
right,
more, maybe?
thank goodness. We only
This
have
number 6,
one
yeah.
more. And this is an easy one. Even you should be able to get this
Yes.
one. Wintry mix.
It's got to be a Spotify playlist of some kind. I'm thinking something that starts with Dean Martin's Marshmallow World.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah, a little wintry mix.
But that is incorrect in meteorological terms.
Yeah, I like mine.
But I like the idea of a wintry mix.
I like Dean Martin a lot more than sleet and whatever else.
Well, see, you kind of know what it is.
Yeah, everybody knows what that is.
Wintry mix is no fun. You don't want a wintry mix. You want snow. It's just a miserable mix of sleet, freezing rain, and maybe a snowflake or two. So you never really want a wintry mix because it's none of the fun that you can get with snow. This has made me very cold going over all these winter terms.
All right. Well, I think I did pretty good considering
You did terrible.
what I've got to work with. Quick, before you go, give us the short and long range forecast about maybe December in this winter. What kind of winter can we expect? I know that everything beyond a couple days is into like margins of error, a little voodoo, maybe some blind dart contests, but all I'm asking for is exactly what time will it snow in my front yard on Christmas Day, and should I wear a ski mask to play golf in January?
I've seen snowflakes here in Alabama on Christmas Day. And I've also seen tornadoes
Yes.
on Christmas Day. I remember one in particular sitting in the basement against the washing machine, writing a story. Ho, ho, ho. I'm looking at the week 3 to 4 temperature outlook from NOAA's Climate Prediction Center. So they're suggesting that we have a higher likelihood, not a slam dunk or anything, 33 to 40% for most of the state of having above average temperatures around the time of Christmas. Not it won't not the day of. It's just around. We don't really get into more accurate forecast until about 7 days out. So,
Okay.
and then it looks like South Alabama has a higher chance of being warmer than average, and then North Alabama could be. So around Christmas, we are leaning slightly towards warmer weather, which I am all in favor of.
All right. Yeah, I'm in favor of it too. Lee, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us for a few minutes.
I will be waiting for my Christmas bonus to arrive in the mail. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Go ahead and wait. Thanks everybody out there for listening to us. I'm gonna be back here bright and early Monday morning. Until then, y'all come by and see what we're doing anytime you can on the World Wide Web at al.com.